Matt, it's a fun time here at Tulsa.
It sure is. And we're going to have so much fun here on MECUM in the morning. Thanks for joining us here at the SageNet Expo.
Too much fun times for Matt this morning.
Time. There's one Sage Nut here, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But I'm at the SageNet Expo, and we are gearing up for day 2 here at MECUM Tulsa.
Yesterday was on fire, and today, well, it's raining, but the heat's going to be brought on the auction block, Matt.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many elements.
And I didn't rehearse that.
So many natural elements. Both all metaphorical.
Yeah, it's okay, Matt.
But yeah, we are rocking and rolling. We had a great day yesterday. So much excitement on the auction block, Breeann. We've got a dynamite lineup today.
We do. What do we have in store, Matt?
Well, crossing the auction block, we've got 31 pieces of road art, Breeann, and we talk about this all the time. That is where you can really find those special pieces to adorn your special place. The garage, the basement, heck,
The she shed.
your living room, in some cases, your bedroom. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of funny that you bring that up, as we've come to find out Breeann has a propensity to raise her hand and bid on road art often. I think the last 3 auctions, I've ended up bringing a piece of road art home. At Indy, I brought a Newport Pleasures sign home, which is now hanging in my office. Before, I bought really rare painting from Romero Brito. You can find a lot of stuff, and it's not always automotive focus. We've got, the painting that I got was Johnny Cash kind of style painting, but there's so many fun things. Like if you're ever scrolling through the website and you're looking for something to hang on your walls, don't forget to check us out, roadart at mecum.com.
Yeah, as you said, a lot of it is automotive inspired, and that's why we call it road art, because it's all the neat pieces that you find in your motoring journey. But as you said, a lot of it is the coin op. It's the vintage, anything you would put a coin in, the bubblegum dispensers.
Is that what happens when you have a coin op? You put a coin in it, Matt?
It is.
It is.
The name's a little cryptic.
Yeah, it is.
So
but you have the vintage gas pumps too, with the great glass bulbs in there. I mean, there's
so much.
There's so much.
So much. But also, we have 220 great collector cars, trucks, and all kinds of other vehicles crossing the auction block
and
today.
Jeeps.
And Jeeps.
We've got so many Jeeps.
We have all the Jeeps.
Yes.
And it's great for Tulsa because there's so much to explore here. And then we also have a great collection that's going to be crossing the block as well.
We sure do.
We do. And something else that people can encounter when they come out is the event exclusive tee at MECUM Merch.
And you wore that yesterday, and actually right before the show was starting, we saw this adorable couple. They were both wearing the matching Tulsa event tee.
Yep.
I think we did really good. There's an ode to Route 66 there as well. It's just, all things this year are Route 66.
Yeah, and like you said, the shirt looks great. It's got that bull nose. Ford, those are coming up in values. I love that's a crew cab. Those are coming up in value. People love the big rigs, especially here. But as you said, there's all kinds of other pieces there. Perfect to come out and take a piece of the MECUM experience home with you.
There's something else you can do while you're here visiting us at Tulsa today, Matt.
What is it, Breeann?
You can go outside if it's not raining and go and check out the Tulsa Driller. This is our 3rd year adorning the Tulsa Driller with some MECUM love and vibes. That the Driller's out front of the SageNet Center, and our team does a really good job at creating a really cool experience with that Tulsa Driller itself. On top of that, this is now the 100th year celebrating Route 66, the most probably iconic road maybe in the world. Dare I say?
I think so. I think certainly in America.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right, Breeann. And I think for a lot of people, Route 66 is a source of inspiration to want to get them to come out and experience MECUM, because collector cars, classic cars go hand in hand. Obviously, doing a road trip is the perfect way to enjoy a vehicle that you can purchase at MECUM auctions. It's a great way to experience it. And I will say, over the past couple of years, I've enjoyed taking Route 66 in my travels for on the move. I've been on it many times, and I love finding new sights to see, new things to take pictures of. There's always something new to encounter.
I think because we talk about it so much, my Instagram algorithm is always being fed with Route 66 adventures or weird, quirky places. I don't know how many times a day or a week I send you like cool things to check out on Route 66, but I know there's so many events going on throughout the year to celebrate the 100th year anniversary. You can go to visittulsa.com to check out what's going here. But Route 66 also has some of their own websites. Just check out some of the iconic events. Maybe you'll see Matt at 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
Who knows? Sometimes he doesn't know until like the day before. But,
Yeah.
happy birthday Route 66?
Sure.
100th birthday
Sure.
Route 66?
I like it. Well, it's a year-long celebration.
Yeah, I actually had a, just, off topic, but on topic, a girlfriend of mine from India flew over years ago and borrowed a 500cc single cylinder Royal Enfield. I delivered it to her in Pennsylvania. It was in March, so the weather was still kind of iffy. So she rode from Pennsylvania to Chicago and then started the Route 66 trek. It snowed. She had sandstorms. She lost a headlight. And she did all of Route 66 by herself on a single cylinder 500 Royal Enfield motorcycle, and it was a blast. She ended it in California. There's a whole bunch of her friends and fans that met her, at the end of, Route 66 in California, and it was really cool to see. I think one of those days, like maybe like my son and I will, once I get him a motorcycle and he gets his motorcycle license, that's something I'd like to do with him, is like explore all Route 66.
Yeah, and I would say that situation is very common, Breeann. In my travels, I've encountered a lot of people who have come from international locations because they've heard of the mystique, the myth of Route 66, and they want to experience it. And I would just say, we have guests from around the world coming. If you live in the States, jump in your car, hopefully something cool, but even if it's not, just take a road trip, spend a couple hours, spend a couple days, because it is something very inherent to the American backstory.
And a part of the American backstory is family road trips. I'm sure as a kid you did that with your family. I know that I did that with both my parents. I was a child of divorce, but we often talked about road trips, or we often took road trips. My dad on the East Coast, my mom on the West Coast, and you just see so many things that you wouldn't necessarily see just like flying in and like going to like the main attraction. You have these. When we went for the Hot Rod Power Tour, we found like the sneaker cemetery, and some really cool abandoned gas stations and everything. So like road trips are fun, whether it's with family or friends.
Yeah. And they're also adventures in the digital frontier, Breeann.
There are.
I was trying to figure out how to tie that in. It's a little tricky.
I like you did it. If you missed it, at Indy Spring Classic, we announced our partnership with the Sunday Car Club, which is an island within the Fortnite environment. It is a digital auction. It mimics our auctions as well. So during our live auctions, they choose 5 to 10 cars that are selling on the block. They mirror those in the auction, in the Fortnite environment. It's a lot of fun, a lot of characters. There's a lot of evolution going on behind the scenes. So phase 1 was launched at Indy. You'll see a phase 2 rollout at Harrisburg, most likely, but so much fun. You and Alyssa caught a nugget. There's a MECUM in the morning logo on that screen as well, but check out the screen. The island code is 1338-2425-5585. Come and play MECUM in the digital world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're talking about road trips, and of course, Breeann, we're talking about having adventures with your vehicle, and perhaps there's no better way to do that than in a Jeep.
This war has produced many mechanical wonders, but in the field of transport, the Jeep is a masterpiece of engineering. They seem to thrive on rough treatment. Stamina tests prove that the Jeep can take a running jump and come up for more. A demonstration now of the good old peacetime sight of the wife garaging the car.
The Jeep is an all-American icon, built for anything, anywhere. From MECUM Tulsa, here are a few of our favorites crossing the auction block. Their story starts with examples like Walter, a great reminder of Jeep's origins as rugged utility vehicles born in World War II. The CJ2A, CJ meaning civilian Jeep, marks Jeep's first step out of military service and into everyday life, directly carrying forward the proven engineering that earned its reputation on the battlefield. Finished in classic olive drab with Army livery, Walter still reflects that original purpose-built character. And like countless Jeeps that followed, it was assembled in Toledo, Ohio, the historic home of Jeep production. This 55 pickup is ready for whatever adventure you throw at it, being a full frame-off build. It rides on a K5 Blazer chassis and is powered by a 383 cubic inch Stroker V8. Inside, there's a custom leather interior and bucket seats with 5-point harnesses for when the trail gets tricky. Plus, there's Fox shocks and a winch to make sure you make it home.
Check this out, guys. It's a 1973 Jeep Cherokee Golden Eagle. You can see why it's called a Golden Eagle right here on top of the hood. The Jeep Wagoneer has been around since the 1960s, but it wasn't until the 1980s when A&C, American Motor Corporation, developed the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. What that means, it was the first ever luxury SUV of its kind. Why is it a luxury SUV? We got the wood paneling, the corduroy seats, and the leather upholstery. This 1989 Jeep Grand Wagoneer is in highly original condition. It's one of only 10,159 Grand Wagoneers produced in 1989. It comes equipped with a V8 engine, automatic transmission, four-wheel drive, and this sick gunmetal gray paint. All Jeeps are iconic, but it doesn't matter if you're 15 years old to 60 years old. The Jeep Wrangler is known by all. Way back when, starting with the Willys, graduating to the CJs, and then the more modern versions, just like this 2012 Jeep Wrangler. Now this Jeep Wrangler is not like most. It is a Call of Duty MW3 edition. It's one of 3,500 produced. What makes this Call of Duty one special? It comes with a MW3 gauge cluster, badging, and seat embroidery. All right, so out of all the Jeeps we featured, what one would you drive?
That Grand Wagoneer was pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I really wanted to cover that and, kind of tie it back in. Since the day I was born, there's always been a Jeep of some kind in my family, and even to this day, my dad still drives a Jeep Grand Cherokee. My stepfather drove a Grand Wagoneer. It was white. It had the wood paneling on the side, and that's some of the most iconic moments of my life, and forged, all my memories of cars were around Jeeps. My dad had I would say a yellowish CJ7 with a brown soft top that he used to take us hand gliding and going to the Blue Ridge Mountains. And my brother and I used to go camping with him on the Appalachian Trail. But the things I remember the most are the cars that they drove us in, and it was always a Jeep. We will forever be a Jeep family, no matter what. I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of the most modern era ones, but a CJ7, the real rugged, or a Grand Wagoneer. Bon appetit? No, you cannot eat a Jeep.
No.
But I would drive one.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
But you're right, Breeann, is that I don't know if there's any other model that is forged from such an intense purpose and has really carried out that legacy to modern day. Even that, going back to the very earliest origins, the 1940s, obviously the ones that played a big role in...
a role like in the video?
So much spiciness today. But playing a role in securing victory there in World War II. And we did see some of that great archival footage. But it's fascinating how those early, you could even say primitive versions, still have a hold on enthusiasts just because they're so functional for what they want to do. It's just basically kind of an open platform with great approach and departure angles. Perfect for off-roading and perfect for parades.
I have a question, and you might not know it, but if you're a viewer and you know the answer. So Kayla and I were driving into work yesterday, and there was a gentleman that had all the ducks hanging in his Jeep. What is it with ducks and Jeeps? I'm not sure what it is.
So I can tell you. So, and I learned this from several Jeep clubs, several Jeep events. So it's called ducking.
Ducking, okay.
Correct. So the process of receiving a duck is called ducking. And effectively what it is that it's a currency of admiration as you're walking through a parking lot. So if you're out in the wild and you...
In the wild?
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you see a Jeep that you like, you duck it. So that requires you to carry a bag of
full
ducks.
Of ducks.
Correct,
okay.
Correct. But you would go up and you would place a duck on the fender or a hood.
Okay.
Now, I will say the story that I've been told is that it originated with a Jeep owner, a woman out on the East Coast, who wanted to use that as a way to spread cheer and positivity and basically say hey, your Jeep is cool. And so that's kind of the origins of it. But what's fascinating, Breeann, is that Jeep as a brand has recognized this kind of
cult
underground,
yeah.
I don't want to say cult, there's not duck cults, but underground movement. Cult. And I noticed them, Jeep as a brand, using ducks in some of their mainline advertising. So it's definitely caught on. Now, I will say my preference is that if you're going to receive a duck, it has to be for a modification. I will say... So
not original? You can't say hey, I'm ducking you because you have a really cool CJ7.
Well, you can. I mean, it's up to the ducker to make that decision.
Yeah.
I would like to see Correct.
Okay.
These are technical terms, Breeann. Stay with me.
Yes.
And I will say, I'm
The
glad
ducker and ducking.
I'm glad
Got
you've
it.
asked, because I have gone down it's not a rabbit hole, but maybe the duck path.
The duck pond.
The duck pond.
Yeah.
Of exploring this. And I first encountered it at the Jeep Invasion in Gatlinburg a couple years ago, and because I saw all these ducks, and I kind of had the same question. I was like, what is happening with the ducks? So confused. Now, what's interesting is that I actually have a good friend of mine who lives in Knoxville. She drives a purple Wrangler Rubicon. She has all the ducks, and I was chatting with her about it. She is upset because the Bronco community has also embraced ducking. So
They can't.
the Jeep owners would like the ducking to stop with the Broncos.
I agree. Let's talk to Kayla about that because she does drive a Bronco.
So, I mean, now again, I'm just the messenger, but this is all going on within the off-road community. So,
Like the Broncos and the Jeeps are fighting over ducks.
well, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
from what I've been told, the Bronco owners are trying to embrace the same culture. They just need a new mascot.
So when I was growing up with Jeeps, the duck thing was not around. That's aging myself. There was the Jeep wave that you would do outside of the side of the Jeep, especially when you had the doors off, which again, if you drove a Wrangler or CJ7 back in the 80s or 90s, even the early 2000s, a lot of times you took the doors off and you would do like the Jeep wave. And I always remember my dad just being like, yeah, there's another Jeep buddy of mine.
Wait, what was that? The wave?
No,
What were you doing? You weren't even doing the wave right.
I don't even know. My bad, folks.
It's like-
I'm just going to go
No.
ducking now.
So the Jeep Wave is still around, and again, that's also been recognized by Jeep. So it's like if you got it's like two fingers up. Like
Yeah.
you keep your hand on the steering wheel, but it's like two fingers up. I think you're thinking of like motorcycles where it's like two fingers
No,
down.
I 100% know how to wave at motorcyclists, Matt. Thank you for teaching me.
But you're definitely right. Is that and all this is great fun because it really speaks to the camaraderie that's within the Jeep community. My final request
yeah.
for the Jeep community is that just make sure you deduct your dashboard so that you have visibility, because I see way too many ducks on a dashboard.
Well, just like when we were driving in yesterday, the guy had a string and he was hanging the ducks by their necks. And Kayla felt really bad for the rubber ducks, but like they were all being hung by their necks.
That's no good.
Yeah,
Don't hang
again-
ducks in your Jeeps. Don't do that. Again, put them on your dash, display them with pride. But once you go to like a second row, and then if you go into third row territory, you got to declutter.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeep people.
Declutter
Matt's
that.
being very judgy. Let's move on to the next topic.
Let's move on. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, ducks, so much fun. But hey, Breeann, when you're out on the road, it's easy today to stay cool, log lots of miles. But back in the day, it wasn't so easy, and you definitely needed a one-of-a-kind accessory. Back in the day, an accessory like this was a must before any long road trip. Before air conditioning made its way into cars, time on the road could get hot in a hurry. And this 1954 Hudson Wasp is equipped with one of the ways passengers try to stay cool. It's called an air cooler or a swamp cooler, and several companies produced them starting in the 1930s. This unit was made by Thermador, a company that's still in business today. The concept, it's simple. Before heading out, motorists would fill the top reservoir with water, which soaked a mesh fiber element inside the cylinder. As the vehicle moved forward, air was drawn through the unit, evaporating the moisture and helping cool the incoming air. A small drawstring allowed passengers to occasionally spin the internal element, re-wetting the fibers to keep the cooling process going. And thanks to its universal mounting design, they could be installed in a wide range of vehicles long before factory air conditioning became the norm. Today, they become a popular period-correct accessory among classic car owners, a simple reminder of what road travel used to feel like before modern comfort took over.
Question, you know how much that thermocooler weighs?
I did not remove it, but
I feel like it looks pretty heavy and
It is pretty
robust,
heavy.
but it has to be if you're driving down the road and using that to like catch wind and
it's
cool
got some heft to it for
Yeah.
sure. And I will say it was actually it was during setup of the auction, our great PA Don and I were talking about it, and it was a story idea from him because he was like, I wonder what that is. And I will say my knowledge of that was not entirely up to date. I thought you put cold water and I thought you put dry ice. And it's just fascinating how those accessories, Breeann, are becoming collectible today because they really go with motif of a car.
Well, and if you think about it, a lot of people are restoring and collecting older model cars that did not have air conditioning. So that's a great accessory to know that, like, hey, you might have this older classic that doesn't have air conditioning, and if you can find one of these that's still working or restore it, you got your air conditioning to go on a road trip on Route 66.
Now, I will say from my research, I would recommend if you're going to use it, make sure you do restore it, only because
You might want to clean it out a
well,
little bit.
yeah, because within that element, even on the one on that on the Wasp here, if you slide back that water
Module.
module.
Yeah.
Man, so many technical. Keep up, folks. We got a lot of technical terms here. The sliding door to fill up the water.
Yeah.
You could see what I perceive as the original filter element dating back, I mean, almost 80 years, 90 years ago. And I will say some of the restorers and the experts online were highly recommending don't use that regularly because you do need it to dry out. Otherwise, you'll blow mold into your car. So,
That would not be ideal.
that's not good.
No.
But there are some restorers out there. You can send them to them, and they will go through, put a new filter element, and then make it so that you can use it if you choose to.
Yeah. Well, what would you use it for? Maybe a road trip, Matt?
I would use it for a road trip. But you know what doesn't need that is our next spotlight on this very unique international harvester. The famed Route 66 runs right through Tulsa, and there's no better way to experience the Mother Road than a family road trip. And if you're planning to cross a few state lines, it helps to have the right vehicle for the journey. Headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, International Harvester is perhaps best known for their agricultural equipment. But along the way, they also built trucks and SUVs, like this 1964 Travelall. This custom now rides on a 1997 Suburban four-wheel drive chassis equipped with Rancho suspension. Power comes from a 6.5-liter turbo diesel V8, thoroughly upgraded with items like a high-flow cold air intake and a 4-inch exhaust, delivering serious torque for towing, hauling, and just about anything else. Inside, it's all about comfort for the entire crew, featuring custom two-tone leatherette upholstery, a heated front bench seat, and second-row captain's chairs. Dual air conditioning keeps everyone cool, while a 1,000-watt Bluetooth audio system with 8 speakers provides the perfect soundtrack for the journey.
Definitely enough space for a road trip and bumping speaker sound system.
Definitely. And Breeann, I will say that owner has taken on road trips. So while we were shooting that package, he had a friend on site who was telling us about the build and whatnot. And he said that his friend has driven, I believe he said across the country. It was at least half of the distance of the country on multiple occasions.
You need a car that's comfy enough to be able to road trip with. I drive a Q5, a 2021 Q5, and I had to do a very short road trip with Alyssa, our DP, and my son Braden. And I opted to sit in the back seat. Well, there's 3 of us. We were on the road for a while, and we had all Alyssa's camera equipment as well as our luggage, and that was not comfortable. And that was only a 4.5-hour road trip. And boy, was I miserable. That would have fit all of our luggage and been completely comfortable.
Yeah, and it really makes the difference. You know, the difference between a long road trip and one that's enjoyable.
Yeah.
When you do have comfort and you got the the AC and the speakers and all that stuff adds to the experience. Of course, it's funny, Breeann, just because our time on the Power Tour and other events, some people go the other route. They want the no tent on the windows, no AC. They want that experience au naturel.
I definitely would not be that one.
I don't know.
No.
It's interesting, but that's a great custom cruiser. And one final note is, again, the friend who was representing the vehicle mentioned that the builder wanted the classic looks, but with some of the modern upgrades, and I think they definitely got it. With
I think you nail it. It's like
there.
you keep that classic, styling, but then you have the modern upgrades to make it a comfortable ride. Like, why not?
Absolutely. So that
Yeah.
International Harvester is going to be crossing the block today, along with a lot of other great vehicles
Like that Grand Wagoneer.
like that Grand Wagoneer and so many other vehicles. Come on out and join us here for our final day in Tulsa, Breeann. And as we wrap up, there are so many ways for our viewers to connect with the MECUM experience, not just in person, but also digitally online.
Yeah, we have MECUM TV, which is on Roku as well as Amazon Live Video. You can watch, again, all of our auction re-airs, On the Move with Matt Avery, collection previews, auction previews. On Amazon Live Video, what we figured out is you go to the search function, you click automotive, And surprisingly enough, we always are at the top. So click on MECUM, watch all the fun 24 hours a day. You can also subscribe and follow us on YouTube. We've got a lot of our content, if not all of it, it ends up on YouTube. It's a great platform to catch up, all of our content. But today we will be on the live stream that is hosted through YouTube. You just go to MECUM.com or our channel, watch that live stream, and watch the auction block rumble.
Yeah, so many ways to encounter MECUM auctions. On top of all that, of course, Fortnite and across all of the social media platforms. And speaking of which, wherever you are finding this show, drop us a comment. Let us know your most recent road trip memory. I want to know.
Or if you have pictures on like Route 66, I'd love to see, and maybe we'll integrate that into our next show, because obviously Route 66 is being celebrated all year. Obviously we wanted to touch on it because we're here in Tulsa and this is one of the iconic, parts of Route 66. But send us your favorite photo on Route 66 and maybe some context behind it, and we'll talk about it on our show.
I love it. Do that, because MECUM in the Morning is going to be signing off here at Tulsa. The auction starting soon, but Breeann and I will return for more MECUM in the Morning at Harrisburg, and we would love to showcase your recent road trip memory. Thanks for joining us for the official pre-auction show. The auction starting soon. Hope you have a great day.